Peace, peace, world. Welcome to the Klyph Notes podcast, available everywhere. Thank you so much for tapping in. If you've been listening for a while, truly appreciate you. If you're new to the podcast, welcome on board, man. If you would like, rate, review, subscribe, share the love, man. Especially if you listen on Apple Podcasts, 5-star ratings and reviews go a long way in helping us grow the podcast and what we're trying to do. Got a really cool episode for y'all, man. But just want to let y'all know on the 10th of October, I'm going to be a special guest with DJ Mellow C, along with the Motown on Monday PDX DJs, Renz, and Mighty Moves, man, at the new home of Motown on Mondays PDX at Dots Cafe. It's going down at 8 p.m., 21 and over, free. So if you're in the neighborhood, man, come on through and, celebrate Motown on Mondays. Also tap in at djklyph.com. Also, you can check me out every Saturday night. Welcome to the Neighborhood Radio Show in Portland, Oregon. And of course, every weekday, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. on The Numbers with the Rhythm. This episode is a really special one because I had an opportunity to meet a legend, literally a legend in this art form that I love, hip hop, at the 2022 PDX Hip Hop Awards. PDX Hip Hop Week ended with the Star Awards. Shout out to DJ OG1 for putting on the Star Awards as an event during Hip Hop Week. DJ Grand Wizard Theodore was in the building. Yes, the inventor of the scratch and the needle drop. And he took some time pre-show to sit and chop it up for a couple minutes, man. And we talked about him and the history of hip hop and his contributions and the things that he's working on and what's up. It's just a really good interview. So check it out right here on this latest episode of the Klyph Notes podcast. Support for the Klyph Notes podcast comes from Akepele Apparel, an idea born from a love of hip-hop, funk, and soul music and its surrounding cultures. With fashion being a huge visual part of the cultures, they've created expressive images to pay homage, invoke nostalgia, and showcase the elements that make up the lifestyle and cultures of these genres. Akepele, apparel for the music lifestyle. For more information, check out akepele.com. That's AKEPELE.com. Yes, y'all. It's another episode of the Klyph Notes podcast, available everywhere you get your podcast. Really, really special interview. Have an opportunity to literally interview a legend in hip hop, Grand Wizard Theodore. What's good with you, sir?
Peace. What's good, man? Glad to be here in Portland, man, for Hip Hop Week. Hip Hop Week. Yeah, oh man. My gosh.
Yeah, man.
I'm so happy to be here for this, man. So happy.
That's what's up, bro. Have you been out here before?
I've been out here, I think it's like 2003, 2004.
Okay.
It's been a long time.
That's what's up. So I've been, like, every time I talk to you, I know I say this, but it's real, bro. Like, it's really an honor to be with one of the true OGs, you know what I mean? Somebody who is at the forefront of this art form that means a lot to me, that means a lot to everybody who's gonna be in the building tonight. We just celebrated the 49th anniversary of hip hop, and it was interesting that we had a chance to do the panel yesterday, and you were speaking on some things in terms of how things got started. And so I'm just curious, when you see where we are now,
right,
and you see thinking back to when you first started,
right.
And I should before I even get into that, I should also say you are credited as, rightfully so, the person who invented the scratch.
And the needle drop.
Bro.
Yes.
So now, you think about that and you look at where hip hop is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does that resonate with you at all, that something that was your idea, that was your creation, is such an integral part of hip hop, but also music, right? Because now if a producer wants to, like, throw a scratch sound in a production, it's there. But that was all your idea.
Yeah, I feel so grateful every day, man, to be a part of something that's bigger than I am.
Okay.
And as far as me, creating a scratch and a needle drop, that's all God's work, man.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? That's all God's work. And I really feel that that's one of the reasons why I'm still here.
Word.
Because what I do is not a talent.
Okay.
It's my gift.
Ooh, I love that.
And this gift is going to be with me for the rest of my life.
Right.
And I thank God every day when I do a show, when I jump on the turntables, and I go from city to city. I thank God for giving me this gift.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And be a part of something that's bigger than I am, man.
Yeah.
It's just so surreal.
Yeah.
I love it.
How powerful is that, man?
Yeah.
How powerful is that? Just knowing where the credit is due and where your gift comes from. I think that's really, really dope.
Absolutely.
So as we are here in Portland, we are celebrating 2022 PDX Hip Hop Week. You've been here for several days, had a chance to check out some of the events, and then things culminate tonight with a number of elements of hip hop. We have the Skill Fest going on, so the B-boys will be represented, B-girls will be represented. We have mic check going on, so the MCs will be represented. And then of course we're gonna have DJs in the building, man. And it's gonna be dope to see you get up there and do a set.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You have obviously traveled all over the place, doing what you do, sharing your gifts with folk. As you think about that, as you consider that, is there a time that it really resonated with you, the impact that you have on people, that you realized that people were embracing your gift?
Oh, absolutely. Many a times. I remember when I went to China for the first time. I remember I went to Japan for the first time. I remember when I went to Australia for the first time. And to be able to go to these places and do a venue, and the venue is like sold out.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the venue, I have like 20, 30, 40, 50 people just standing there and want to take a picture. You know, and they're telling me that some of them had people there, they couldn't speak English, so they had translators there telling me, you know, how happy they are to be sitting there with me and to be scratching and stuff like that. So that's when it really, really resonated with me, where I can jump on an airplane and go fly 22, 23 hours and people actually know who I am. And that's when it resonated with me that, yo, you know, to be able to be a part of something, like I said earlier, to be a part of something that's bigger than I am, to create something that actually changed the world of music as we know it. You know, so I'm just so happy, man.
That's what's up. That's what's up, bro. You know, when you thinking back, I mean, I don't know. As I think about my life and just looking back on my life, I guess I don't spend a ton of time like thinking about what was it like when I was a kid. What was it like when I was a young man. But if you would take a minute and sort of look back to the early days when it was really just about doing something that you love, did you have any inclination that anything close to this would happen with this art form? Absolutely
not. I had no idea on what hip hop was going to be from one day to the next. All I knew is that I was a part of a culture. I was a part of an art form. That was a part of my life. So it was just, we were living life naturally. You know, we went to sleep hip hop. We got up hip hop. We slept hip hop. We ate hip hop. We dressed hip hop. Everything that we did was hip hop because it was our life. So it was natural for us. You know, and we didn't care if it went past. You know, people were like, "Oh, it's a fad. You know, it's not going to last." We didn't care about that. This is our life. If our life is a fad, then so be it. So every day our life was changing. Every day we would get mature and much more mature, and hip hop was starting to elevate. It started to get better and better and better because different technology, different equipment started to come out, different speakers, different amplifiers, different microphones, different mixers, different everything as far as hip hop was concerned. And then when the Sugar Hill Gang came out with their record, and then you got Kington the Third, and then you got, you know, I started back looking at Dolomite rhyming and Pig Meat Marham rhyming, and even a couple of days ago I was looking at a video where the guy was actually rapping at 1940.
Crazy.
He was rapping. Bob, I was like, wow, this is crazy. So it was like, we really didn't care where hip hop was going. We just knew that it was our life. So it was natural, everything that we did in hip hop. It was natural. We didn't care if we made any money. We didn't care. It was natural for us.
It's so interesting that you say that, man. So I grew up in Jersey.
Okay.
Guy O'Brien was my neighbor.
Oh, get out of here.
Master G. You know what I mean? So that was my introduction to
him and his little brother.
Yep.
God bless his little brother, man.
Bro,
Yeah,
Leo, man. That's
Yeah.
and that was because Leo was my age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's interesting because, especially when you talk about how long that art form, the art of rhyming, has been around, and that's the way that I see it, right? Like when I grew up in our household, poetry was a big thing, right? Storytelling was a big thing. It was just a part of the culture. And the first time that I heard it put to rhythm the way that it is in rap music, it was familiar, but it was also, and then some. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so back in the day, that was the thing. One of the things I craved was embrace it, because you would always hear that, this is just a fad. It's gonna pass. It wouldn't be played on radio, right?
Yep.
We're not playing that stuff.
Yep.
And then for me, I can remember when it was finally embraced, and then just like that, it took off. And it felt a little like it lost something when it was embraced by the whole. I don't know if you had that experience or not.
Absolutely. Whenever something was born from the streets, and then corporate America gets hold to it, or anybody that didn't experience it with us, didn't share it with us, didn't really know what it was, once they took it and started to like make money off of it, and started to like, okay, well, we don't need the b-boy no more, we don't need the DJ no more, we just need the MC and make him a rapper and stuff like that. That's when everything started to like get watered down. You didn't get that same feeling as going to the park and hearing the DJs cutting up breaks, and just get that feeling, man.
Right.
Yo, that's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah.
To go in the park and they're just cutting up breaks, and you got the b-boys b-boying, you got the females in the park with they hip hop gear on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's the best feeling in the world. And this was our life. It was just so natural to us. But once it got on wax, everything got watered down.
Yeah.
It didn't have that same feeling anymore.
Yeah.
And I started to feel that. I started to feel it, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So now you continue to be, and it's so crazy because, as you say, it is a part of who you are. As you continue to just live life, as you continue to just be Grand Wizard Theodore, there are things that you are doing to educate people on the art of hip hop. Talk to me about some of the things that you're doing where people can tap in with you.
Yeah. Most definitely. One of the things that I've been doing since 2001 is the Scratch Academy.
Okay.
I remember the first day Jam Master Jay called me and was like, "Yo, I'm trying to do this DJ school and stuff like that." I was like, "Wow, DJ school! I never thought about that." And I was like, "Wow, I didn't think about that."
Yeah.
He said, "I want to do a DJ school. I want you to be a part of it, being that you're the one that created the Scratch, and you inspired me to do what I do." He said, "I want you to be a part of it." I was like, "Hell yeah!"
Yeah.
And I went to the first class that he had. He had a bunch of cameras there, and he was showing everybody how he wanted to do it. He was like, "Yeah, I want to get with you so that we can make a curriculum."
Yes.
And we sat down and made a curriculum. Here it is, 22 years later.
Yeah.
We got like eight or nine Scratch Academies throughout the United States and stuff like
so
that.
dope.
And you can go on YouTube. If you go on YouTube and just press Grand Wizard Theodore, I'm easy to find. You can find everything.
Okay.
All the stuff that I did with KRS-One, DJing for him.
Yeah.
Roxanne Shante, Rakim.
Yeah.
Force MDs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's like all of these MCs that I was very happy to be, to go out on the road and do different venues with.
Yep.
It's just like, it's just surreal, man. You know? And like I said earlier, I'm just so happy to be a part of something, that's bigger than I am.
That's what's up.
Do
you at this stage, do you get a chance to get out to any of the other Scratch Academies, make appearances?
Yeah. I travel around to the one in California, and they got one in Boston, they got one in Florida, Miami. I travel around to all of them and make sure the curriculum is being done right. And then you have the kids, once they're there and they see me and stuff like that, it's like, oh, wow, this is the guy that actually created. Right. It's not every day you get to, learn from the guy that actually created the curriculum. So I'll be very happy to actually go there and stuff like that, you know? And I'm just happy, I'm easy to find. You just punch in Grand Wizard Theodore, it goes to my Facebook page, my Instagram page. Yeah. I'm easy to find.
That's what's up. Bruh, you mentioned, obviously amazing MCs that you've had an opportunity to DJ for. KRS-One, and we know his impact on the culture in such a big way. Bruh, Rakim.
Yeah.
Bruh, Like to me, it's all subjective, right? It's all subjective, and some of it is just preference or whatever. But like the first time I heard a Rakim record, like what he did changed the trajectory of MCing in terms of style, in terms of the rules of what you could do lyrically, and elevated it to just
you don't have to curse.
Come
you
on,
don't have
bro.
to raise your voice.
Come on,
you
bro.
ain't gotta disrespect nobody,
right?
And you also learning.
Yes.
You know,
knowledge,
so those
man.
elements is like, come on, yo.
Yeah. That's so dope. Scratch Academy, other ways that people might see you, other ways that people might be able to tap in with you, other things that you're working on.
Yeah, well, in New York right now, we have a hip hop museum. Yeah. We have the pop-up hip hop museum.
Yeah.
And right across the street from there, we are building a 20-story building for low-income families.
Okay.
So once the building is up, you know, low-income families will be able to move inside the building. And in the bottom, we're gonna have the hip hop museum.
Wow.
It's gonna be like a little big small park.
Yeah.
You know, the highway is right there.
Yeah.
Manhattan is right there on the corner.
Yeah.
Go across the bridge.
Yeah.
The water is right there. So it's like it's a good location, man. Yeah. And people should go. When you go to New York, you gotta go check out the hip hop museum pop-up.
That's what's up.
It is so, it's like it's so futuristic, but also it's still hip hop. You can still go in there and feel like you know, in hip hop and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a beautiful thing.
I really celebrate artists like yourselves who continue to create in 2022, and artists who've come after you who continue to create within a certain lane of hip hop and rap music in particular. It's such a cliche-ish question, but again, having an opportunity to speak to someone who is a true OG, where do you see hip hop going?
I see hip hop
as a culture, not just music, just as a culture.
As a culture, I see hip hop being taught in the schools. Yeah. I see hip hop being taught to people that's trying to get into hip hop, like an MC. Like someone might be like, well, I want to be an MC, but like, what happens after, you know, I sign the paperwork? We want them to be able to learn the business aspect. Okay. You know, we just don't sign on a dotted line. Right. Know what you're signing for. Right. Are you signing for 1 year? Are you signing for 2 years? If they give you $1 million up front, you know you're not going to get no money until they recoup that $1 million. Or you could just say, well, I don't want no money. Right. Just give me what you owe me, you know? Right. So we want people to be able to go to school and learn about hip hop, man. Learn where it came from. Yeah. Learn where it's at and learn where it's going. So I see hip hop in schools, man. That's what's people up, man. Learning. Yeah. It's very important for people to learn. Absolutely. Know who Flash is, know who Grand Wizard Theodore is, Africa Bambaataa, all the MCs, everybody. Know who everybody is. Yeah. So that when you get into hip hop, you know it's not something that you do from 9 to 5. Hip hop has to be your life.
Come on, say that.
You know, it has to be your life. You can't just say, well, I'm going to do hip hop for 9 to 5, and then when I go home, I'm not doing hip hop no more. Right. You know, I remember going to a panel discussion, and the young lady said, well, I decided to retire from MCing. I was like, retire from MCing? Yeah. If you retired from MC, you was never MCing. You should have made it your life. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So people got to be educated, man. Yeah. I really, really hope that the future will be education, man. Definitely education, because it's a big gap. You know, you got some of these new artists that's 17, 18 years old, and you talk to them like, well, do you know who Melly Mel is? Do you know Melly Mel? Right. I don't care about them. They dinosaurs. They don't, you know, care about them no more. Right. So it's a generation gap, and that generation gap has to be closed, man. That's absolutely, because we say if you don't know where you came from, how do you know where you're going? And that's why I hope that hip hop can go, man. Yeah. Education, everybody's educated. Yeah. Teaching in schools. Yeah. Going to the museums and reading about hip hop. You know. No
doubt. Listen, man, I know that we're getting ready to get things started here at the Mission Theater in Portland, Oregon for Hip Hop Week 2022. Are there any other things that people should be tapped into? We want to make sure that people are not missing out on anything that you're involved in. Any other things people should tap into with you?
It's just basically, you know, I'm just traveling around to schools or colleges and making sure that people know, you know, the true history, the true story of hip hop, because ain't nobody gonna be able to tell my story better than I can.
Say that. Say that, brother. Yeah.
I mean, I lived everything I talk about. I lived it. No one sat me down and said, "Okay, this happened in '71. This happened." Everything I talk about, I lived it.
Yeah.
So if I want to sit down and talk with someone, I want to sit down and talk with someone that actually lived what they're talking about, so I know I can get the whole story.
That's absolutely 100%.
You know.
Yeah.
And I'm still doing a lot more traveling and stuff like that. I have a lot more stuff that's coming up. I can't really speak about now, but I'm here, man.
Yeah.
I'm here.
That's what's up.
I'm here, and I'm not going nowhere.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying? And to all the people that's in like different cities and stuff like that, and feel like you're stuck in a city and think that you can't get out of that city, you know, it can happen, man. Just keep practicing, keep networking, you know, keep branching out, keep thinking outside the box. Don't think that if you live in a little tiny city in Utah that you're not going to be able to get out. Yeah. You can, man. Yeah. You can. It's been done. A lot of cities been put on the map, man.
Yeah.
It can be done. Yeah. Don't give up. Yeah. Keep going.
I love that. Okay, final thing. One of the things that we know to be true for artists like yourself, as you said, when it was never about, it wasn't about doing it for money. It was literally like just living life, just making art. Yeah. Making art.
Yeah.
And we see now that as finances have become available for artists, there's not kickback. There's not kickback for the OGs, right? Like there's no copyright on the scratch, where every time somebody scratch, you don't get a cut. Every time somebody, you know, if they're playing on turntables, they do a needle drop, right?
Right.
You don't get anything from that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So as a creator, education, you've mentioned how important that is to you, and giving back and sharing.
Yes.
But if people want to find a way to support you, without necessarily, I mean, is there a way other than just like, yo, hit my Cash App? Because one of the things that we want to do is celebrate people while they're here to receive that appreciation. Is there anything in terms of art that you're creating or things that people can contribute to?
Well, what's been happening for the past like 10 years, a lot of schools, a lot of different cities been bringing me out there to do Scratch Academy classes, been talking to the kids and stuff like that. Yeah. So a lot of schools has been giving back, you know, because I always make sure that everybody know my email address. And every time I put my email address up, I get like 10, 20 phone calls, and one day turned into 20 days, 20 days turned into, so I'm definitely happy that all of the schools and all the people are stepping up and saying, yo, you know, we definitely got to get back. So we're going to invite you out to our school, talk to the kids, we'll fly you out there, blah, 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 how much it's going to cost. So that's been happening, you know, and I'm just very, you know, very thankful for that and stuff like that, you know.
I love it. So anybody listening to this, know that Grand Wizard Theodore is available. You know, to do some educational, like, you got to treat them right, though. This is an OG. We got to take care of the OGs.
GrandWizard73@gmail.com. 2 Z's in the name.
I love it.
You know, Grand Wizard, one word, 73 at gmail.com. Hit me up, promoters. I'm waiting for you.
No doubt. Brother, man, once again, it is truly an honor. Thank you so much for taking the time, man.
No problem.
We'll get out here and have a good time at Hip Hop Week Portland, the Star Awards. So y'all tap into Grand Wizard Theodore. Once again, thank you for checking out the Klyph Notes podcast. It's available everywhere you get your podcasts: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or at klyphnotes.com. All right, y'all. Until next time, y'all be blessed.
Peace.